Question for you. What is your New Year's resolution typically? If you're like most Americans, there are three things that we are thinking about, and that's our health, organization, and our finances. And so, if you have a goal in 2025 to get that next big promotion, to get paid more, get paid your worth, then you need to treat it like any sort of health goal that you're actually going to achieve. Now, that means that you don't wake up on January 1st expecting to hit that goal right then and there. You put in the preparation to build the momentum to do what you wanted to do. Now, let's break that down. So, if we're thinking about like a health goal, if your goal was to run a marathon in 2025, but you've never run a mile in your life, you're probably not starting out on January 1st with these big running aspirations unless you have given yourself the momentum yet in 2024 to walk a few miles, to jog a mile, maybe, right? You have to build up that momentum to see that success in the year ahead. Now, the same thing is true for your career. You want to be able to build the momentum now so that you can capitalize on that in 2025. If getting that promotion, if getting paid more is truly what you want to see in your life, then I cannot encourage you enough to do these three things that I'm going to talk about today in order to gain the momentum to get there. And not only gain the momentum to get there, but to actually come out ahead in the race. So many of us set these goals and then we get to October, November, December. We reflect back on what they were and we're like, well, I guess I sort of accomplished that. I sort of did what I set out to do because really the heart behind running the marathon was just to spend more time outside. It was just to get a little bit healthier. And I think I kind of sort of did that. So we sort of like pull it back and fall into this complacency. Maybe you've done that with your work goals as well. Maybe you have set this goal to get a promotion, but then you get to the end of the year and you think, well, if I don't get the promotion, that's okay. Maybe I just really wanted to get some recognition for the work I was doing. Maybe I just really wanted to lead on a different sort of project. And I did that. So it's kind of like getting a promotion. I did get a merit increase. So that's kind of like getting a promotion. They did a reorganization and now I'm responsible for a lot more things. So I guess that's sort of the same thing. No, no. Don't fall into that complacency. Get your momentum now so that you can hit that goal and then some. I got the promotion, yes, with an amazing title that makes me feel so secure and like the highest status I can be. I got the pay increase, great, but it also came with the opportunity to network with people that I thought I would never have access to. Let's hit that goal and go beyond it rather than kind of pulling back and sort of assuming that maybe we kind of sort of hit the goal. Doesn't that sound good to you? All right, let's talk about how we're going to get there. What are we going to do in just this less than a month before we get to January to make sure that we can exceed those goals rather than just sort of falling into maybe I kind of sort of hit the main theme? All right, the first one is that we are going to create energy. Now, I know what you're thinking. When we get to this time of year, you're spending so much energy just buying the gifts and going to the parties and doing the things. It doesn't occur to most people that you can actually create the energy that you want. Now, in Brendan Burchard's book, High Performance Habits, I love this book. I reference it often. If you have not read it, click the link below and get your copy of High Performance Habits. It is a game changer. But Brendan Burchard calls your body a power plant. So you don't just have energy, you don't just store energy. You actually create it and you create it from the inputs. So, where a hydropower plant is taking in water, creating the energy and then pushing it out to the homes and the businesses that it needs to support, your body is doing the same thing. It's taking in the fuel, it's taking in the water, it's taking in the activity that you're doing, all of those inputs, and it is transforming them into the energy that you need so that you can push it out into working on those big projects. Coming with a strong poise and self esteem so that you're bringing your best self to those meetings and to those projects. You can actually showcase your abilities, your your ability to master new skills and how you can work better with your team because you've created the energy that you needed to be your best, right? And how would you do this? You are going to do this by eating the food that actually fuels your body. I'm not saying you can't have a Christmas cookie, by all means, but fuel your body with what it needs to actually give that energy out. Give your body the water that it needs to think well. Do you know that a focused mind is a hydrated mind? Drink the water that you need so that you can think clearly. All right. And then putting in that activity, it doesn't have to be this intense hit workout that is leaving you breathless for an hour afterwards. But just start moving your body with a walk, with some stretching, with some yoga, something that is going to help you generate that energy from the fuel that you've taken in. Now, I want to tell you a little bit of a story that I am sure you have seen before if you've ever worked in an office. There are two different kinds of executives, right? Most of us see the executive who sort of sits behind their desk. They're really low energy. They are low effectiveness, really. They skip lunch so that they can answer emails at their desk. Maybe they just have a bag of popcorn sitting there while they're answering emails with the other hand. And then when you see them working after hours, it's a whole bunch of why me and how am I going to keep caught up? And they're just spending all of their time after 5 p.m. reacting to problems that came up throughout the day. Now, that's a low energy executive. There's a high energy executive as well. And you see these people when you know where to find them. You find them in the gym on their lunch break, getting some reps in so that they can re energize for the second half of their day. You see them in the office cafeteria or in the restaurants around town having lunch with a mentee so that they can fuel their body with someone else while also pouring into them with knowledge. You see them leaving at the end of the day because they have proactively put in the work that they needed to do to be able to support and confidently know that anything that came up at the end of the day will be okay until tomorrow. Now, that is the type of leader you want to be, right? So create that energy so that you can be that highly effective, that highly energized executive. Bonus points if you can meet them where they're at. Like I said, you will only see them if you know where to look for them. They are not the ones that are just sitting at their desk every single hour of the day and night because they are doing these high energy activities. All right, number two, list your wins. Now, you might not know this, but your brain has something that's called a reticular activating system. Okay. And what that means is that your brain has this network of neurons that filters things in and out. So it is deciding what you pay attention to and what you don't. Because there's so many inputs coming from every direction that your brain needs some sort of filter. You cannot focus on all of them. And so it has this reticular activating system, your RAS, to tell you what to focus on in your subconscious, in your unconscious. So without trying to, you just notice these things. But how does it do that? It does that by your conscious brain telling it, this is what I want to focus on. So Basic example, you go out and buy a red car because nobody around you has a red car, and this is going to help you stand out. And then moments later, as you're driving home from the dealership, you find five more red cars in your neighborhood. Because by buying the red car, you told your RAS, we are filtering this in. And so now that is what your unconscious brain is then attaching, right? It is looking for all of those other red cars. And so you see them on your way home. Now, you can do this intentionally. You can tell your brain, I want to focus on what is going well. So, what I want you to do is identify those things that are going well for you today and tomorrow and the next day, every single day for the next month, and write those out. I want you to be as specific as possible because what you're doing then as you build that habit over the next 20 to 30 days is making it an automatic for your brain. We look for the good. We look for the good. We look for the progress that we've made here. Now, there is a school of thought that would say that you learn more from correcting what you did wrong. And there is a lot to gain from making mistakes and learning from those mistakes. But it isn't the focus on the mistake that makes it valuable. That's not the part you want to focus on. The part that you want to tell your RAS to filter in is what you benefited from it, even if it went wrong. What other people benefited from when you did something right. So bring all of those things, all of those wins into your RAS so that your mind is automatically looking for them. Now, when you write them down, you get an added bonus because one of the things that is so critical in advancing your goals in 2025, whatever they are, is the ability to communicate what you did well and what value you bring. And so when you are writing out all of those wins, you are training yourself to articulate them in a useful way. You are training yourself to share them with other people. So write them down, read them off, edit them, make them better every time you write them out. And it doesn't have to be, a million lines in a day. If you take 5 minutes and write out those wins and you even capture 2, 3, maybe even 10 in 5 minutes, you are going to make colossal growth just by capturing what's going well today, even without knowing exactly where you want to go in 2025. All right, your third tip is create accountability. Now, we know that we achieve our goals better when we are accountable. That is why we don't just go into a cave to work on projects, right? That's why we don't just decide that we're going to run that marathon and do it in secret. The people who try to do that are so frequently met with failure. You are 95% more likely to succeed in your goal, whatever that goal is, when you have someone that you're accountable to. And so we don't want to go into that cocoon. We're not a caterpillar. We're not going to emerge a butterfly just automatically. We want to work within our community so that we have someone who can help lift us up and set us back on the path that we want to go. Now, one caveat here, make sure that the people that are holding you accountable are going in a direction that you want to go. They don't have to be there already. They don't have to be someone who is, already at the status, already at the level that you want to be at, but they have to be moving in that direction. Because when you fall down, right? Because you will. You'll miss a day writing your wins. You'll miss a day bringing your clothes to work out at lunch where you're seeing all of those high energy executives bring them, right? And if the people that are holding you accountable say, that's okay, let's get back up. We'll go for a walk. We don't need our workout clothes. That's going to move you in the right direction. But on the other hand, if your accountability partner says, That's okay. You didn't bring your clothes? Cool. We have a free lunch break. You want to get Mexican? That's not going to cultivate the energy that you need to have in order to achieve that next step. So make sure that the people that you bring into this accountability with you are actually the ones that are going to help you meet the goals that you have set for yourself. You surround yourself with the winners. Now, what would happen? Imagine if you had 5 women in a group that were all creating energy. They were all talking about what they were working on and the wins that they were seeing. When you got the opportunity to talk to them, you would know they're going to ask about yours too. You would know that they're interested in your progress. You would rock this next 21 days, right? You would spend the next 21 days making more progress than you've ever made in a December before. December is usually when everyone backslides. And there's going to be so many people backsliding in December that if you are taking these steps forward, you are going to be light years ahead. Now, this group of 5 people, this could be your circle of people that you move forward with in 2025 and beyond. Now, I'm excited. So, if you do this, if you choose to get a group together and to follow these 3 simple steps in order to get momentum for 2025, let me know. Send me an email, send it to info@kellyhearn.com. And I want to just keep in touch. I want to know what you're working on and how I can help support you. Thank you so much for joining today. If you got anything out of this, and if you have those 5 people that you want to work with, send it to them. Share them to people who want to make this sort of impact in the last month of the year so that they have the momentum going into 2025 to achieve all of their dreams and then some. All right. I will talk to you soon.